Pre-wedding festivities will be taking place in Gujarat's Jamnagar from March 1st to 3rd, and some of the most powerful people in the world will be attending the ceremonies. Bill Gates, the founder and former CEO of Microsoft, is expected to attend the pre-wedding ceremonies of Anand Ambani and Radhika Merchant. Meta CEO Zuckerberg has been invited to attend the grand festivities in India. Donald Trump's daughter and former advisor Ivanka Trump is also part of the guest list. Adobe CEO Shantanu Narayan has been invited as well. The CEO of the Walt Disney Company, Bob Iger, is also likely to attend the pre-wedding ceremonies in Jamnagar. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, Morgan Stanley CEO Ted Pick, and Blackstone founder Stephen Schwarzman are also attending. And it's not just the business honchos, several dignitaries will also be in attendance, like Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman bin Jassim Al Thani, the Prime Minister of Qatar, King of Bhutan Jigme Khasar Namgyel Wangchuk, and Queen Jetsun Pema are expected to join the grand celebration. Stephen Harper, the former Prime Minister of Canada, is another big name who is expected to join the celebrations. Anand Ambani and Radhika Merchant got engaged in a traditional ceremony in January 2023. Their wedding is the most anticipated event of the year.
Co-presented by
¿Esa misma finca son dos?
Comentado que ya estaba habilitado justo en esta zona.
Pilar.
Julián Conserje, el héroe que ha salvado a todo el mundo.
Los bomberos porque matan.
¿Y eso quién lo provoca? El pobre Cristian está aquí también.
¿Cristian? ¿Para qué?
Pues porque me ha dejado aquí y dice...
13 personas heridas, en este caso de esas 13 personas, 6 son bomberos, lo que indica la intensidad del trabajo que están realizando, y el resto son personas civiles que no están interviniendo en emergencia, que están distribuidas por diferentes hospitales de la ciudad de Valencia.
Bomberos, que de momento no se habla de número de víctimas. Sí que se sabe que unos 3 bomberos habrían... Tenemos una equipo que yo creo que hará...
Grave riesgo para el resto de la población.
Vale, voy.
Llegando poco a poco también cada vez...
Estamos hablando con la cámara.
Sí.
Mira los bomberos ahí.
Están rescatando.
Ah, vale.
Sí, ahora.
Los ves allá.
Vale,
ya está. Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. It's a full-blown war of words between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi. The Prime Minister today in his constituency of Varanasi gave it back to Mr. Gandhi on his comments about alcoholism being rampant among Kashi's youth. Now, the Prime Minister derided Rahul Gandhi, calling him an entitled dynast who can't seem to digest the fact that the young of Kashi are aspiring for a better life, they're more ambitious, and they are also being successful in whatever field they choose to pursue. That Rahul Gandhi can't seem to digest the success of the young people of Kashi, or even for that matter, the rest of Uttar Pradesh. Rahul Gandhi later hit back at the Prime Minister, saying he should first set right the exam paper leaks that are happening in UP and other states. He should also deliver more good quality jobs for the youth instead of attacking him. The ultimate point is this: there are going to be close to 2 crore new voters in the upcoming election in 2024, and it's a big catchment area, both for the BJP as well as for the opposition. So who is going to win the youth vote? And all these comments, whether it was what Mr. Gandhi said and in response what the Prime Minister has said today, is all of this in the lead up to the battle for the youth vote.
वाराणसी गया, वाराणसी में देखा मैंने रात को बाजा बज रहा है, ठहर जा, बाजा बज रहा है, वहां पे शराब पिए सड़क पे लेटते हुए बाजा बज रहा है। यूपी का भविष्य रात को शराब पिए नाच रहा है, डांस कर रहा है नशे में।
वो कह रहे हैं और काशी की धरती पर आके कह रहे हैं, काशी के नौजवान, यूपी के नौजवान नशेड़ी है। ये कैसी भाषा है भाई? मोदी को गाली देते देते तो इन्होंने 2 दशक बिता लिए, लेकिन अब ईश्वर रूपी जनता जनार्दन पर, यूपी के नौजवानों पर ही ये लोग अपनी फ्रस्ट्रेशन निकाल रहे हैं।
All right, explosive pictures coming in from both sides to the youth voter. But let's break down the numbers for you since the 2014 election. Who has the edge as far as the youth vote is concerned? In the 2014 election, if you were to go back to the 18 to 22 age group, the BJP got 37% of the youth vote. The Congress only managed to get 17%. In the 23 to 27 age group, that age category, the BJP got 32% of the vote and the Congress got 20%. In the 28 to 35, the BJP got 33% and the Congress got just 19%. The others, of course, were not in the claimant position as they were. But if you look at the 2019 election, the BJP managed to better its record with first-time voters, with young voters. In the 18 to 22 category, they got 41% of the vote. That was an increase of 4% compared to 2014. The Congress also increased, not as much as the BJP, and of course, the Congress got less than half of the youth vote compared to how much the BJP got. In the 23 to 27 category, 40% voted for the BJP, up 8%. The Congress got just 18%. It was down 2% compared to 2014. In the 28 to 35 category, BJP got 39% of the vote. That is up 6% from 2014. But Congress remained static at 19%. So clearly, there was an increase, a surge from the 2014 to the 2019 election as far as the youth vote is concerned from Congress to BJP. So the BJP ended up sharing a bulk of the youth vote. But there is a problem as far as unemployment is concerned, whether in India or in Uttar Pradesh. And this has been almost like a leitmotif in Rahul Gandhi's and the India Alliance's campaign. If you were to go back to the unemployment rate all the way back to 2012-13, before the Modi years, it was at 4.9%. Just before Mr. Modi came into office, the unemployment rate was 4% in the state of Uttar Pradesh. That skyrocketed to 5.8%. It stayed above 5% in the 2016-17 and then again went up to 6.2%. This was 2017-18, just the year there was a change of guard in Uttar Pradesh from the SP regime under Akhilesh Yadav to the Yogi regime. So this was 6.2% in 2017-18 when Yogi first became Chief Minister. Subsequently, it has progressively come down to 5.7% the following year, then 4.4, 4.2, and finally the year that we have the last data for, which is 21-22, it was under 3%. This is government figures given by the state of Uttar Pradesh. But how does this speak to what has been a consistent attack from the opposition about unemployment figures, whether in UP or in any other part of this country? In fact, they've tried to make this as the Achilles heel of the Modi government. But does the data hold up? Because ultimately, all these barbs, what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said a few days ago and then the Prime Minister's retort to it today, is all focused on the youth vote and who gets a larger chunk of the youth vote. Let me go across to Shazia Elmi, national spokesperson of the BJP, joining us. Dolly Sharma is spokesperson of the Congress party. Pradeep Bhati is spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Gargi Nandi Roy is a political analyst. Let me first start with Shazia Elmi. Shazia Elmi, Rahul Gandhi in Banaras says he saw young people wasting their lives away. Nashedi hai, they were nashe mein naach rahe the. You know, the future of Kashi was dancing in an inebriated state, and today the Prime Minister has made that into an attack on all youth of not just Kashi but all youth of Uttar Pradesh. Is the BJP trying to retort back to Mr. Rahul Gandhi, trying to turn the tables on him without addressing the merits of what he is saying, that is that the youth are having a problem as far as lack of jobs are concerned, good employment opportunities, paper leak, all of that? Is that not being addressed? Is it being politically retorted to?
Zaka, I am personally appalled by the language and words, the tone and tenor of Rahul Gandhi ji. Is this the way to talk to about your voters? This is simply talking down to them and telling them they have no common sense, that they are like short of being buffoons, that they have no sense. As long as the Congress has enjoyed, absolute victory upon victory for the first so many years, decades of since independence, the same voters were bright and intelligent and they made sound choices. And now that Rahul Gandhi is not considered an option for the young leaders or young voters, you rebuke them, you chide them, you humiliate them, you mock them, you make them feel like they're worth nothing. You tell them you're wasting away your lives away, you're nasheris, phone mein ghuse rehte ho, you're talking about Amitabh Bachchan, you're talking about Aishwarya Rai in a disgusting manner, which is so unsavory and unpalatable. I think this is not the way to talk to anybody. He is talking down to people, and that just shows plain, blatant exasperation, one, and utter disregard for the common person. He made this person, he just picked up somebody from the crowd, and the person was literally, quivering and shaking with fright, just to make a point. And I think that's not done. Yes, there are serious issues. Please address them. But is this the language that you want to use?
Okay.
And let me tell you, when it comes to unemployment also, Prime Minister is there, all of us are there giving figures day after day, telling us what has been our track record and what has been the average in terms of inflation, price rise. But and we also bring to you your UPA record and the track record. But people in deep down believe if there is one person who will deliver, even if there is a serious issue, it would be PM Modi, because there is a commitment to the people which I've seen in the last 10 years.
So
Not
let me
everything
ask,
has been perfect.
Let me ask Dolly Sharma.
Dolly
Sharma of the Congress party, ma'am.
Address the problem.
The point is that election after election, from 14 to 19, it is the BJP and Mr. Modi who have cornered a bulk of the youth vote. And Rahul Gandhi, instead of appealing to the youth vote, is talking down to them, describing them as nashedis, losing their future in nasha and so on. Kashi ka bhavishya naach raha hai nashe mein. I mean, this is not how you talk to voters whose vote you are hoping to get in 2 months' time.
Yeah, good evening to all. Let me make this thing very, very clear. He said, you also played the statement which Rahul Gandhi ji said. He said, I saw from my own eyes कि नशे में लड़के झूम रहे थे. उन्होंने कहा मैंने देखा अपनी आंखों से वाराणसी की सड़कों पर. He started with this line. तो उन्होंने आंखों से अपनी से देखा कि वहां ये हो रहा था. He did not say this for everybody, but yes, उन्होंने ये कहा कि मैंने अपनी आंखों से देखा कि युवा वहां ये कर रहा था. And also, I would like to ask कि today in Uttar Pradesh, the youth is protesting Bharti Ghotala, as you say, and we've clearly, the pictures and every news portal is covering it. So they are on the roads asking for their rights. They are protesting. What are they getting in return? Lathi charge. Nobody is listening to them. It is not today that they are protesting. Today we are seeing unemployment rate 45 years low. Is it not true? Should we not ask question? And I will tell you a very practical example. I come from Ghaziabad and I will give you an example. सड़कों पर नशा बिक रहा है और उसके बाद पुलिस कोई कार्रवाई नहीं करती है. लोग आते हैं, नशा खरीद रहे हैं. ये सड़कों पर उत्तर प्रदेश के हो रहा है. This is very, very practical that I am telling you. Why the police is not taking action? Why they are not taking action?
But एक second. I'll get, on the exam paper leak, it's an absolutely valid point. I'll ask the BJP spokesperson to respond to that. But can I ask you something? If no one is saying that Mr. Rahul Gandhi did not see what he saw, अपने आंखों से उन्होंने जो देखा सो देखा. Nobody is saying anything against that. But to say कि यूपी की भविष्य तो नशे में नाच रही है, you are insulting all young people of Uttar Pradesh, certainly all young people of Kashi. That is not that is not how a politician, aspiring to get their votes should be speaking to them.
I have a question and I'll answer this as well. First thing he said, I saw it from my own eyes on the roads of Banaras, on the roads of Varanasi. And I have now a counter question here. IIT BHU, the girl, a girl was raped. Who raped that girl? The BJP post holders, the IT cell post holders of the BJP. What is it? What is it? Who protected them for 60 long days? Today, Prime Minister went and met the BHU students. Where was the Prime Minister, the representative of Varanasi, when the girl, a girl whose future was raped by the BJP post holders? They were protected for 60 long days. They were sent to Madhya Pradesh to, where were they? I have a straight question.
Shazia, help me answer both of those questions. On the exam paper leak, I mean, we saw these, Shazia, one second. We saw these pictures.
Yes.
12 lakh young people have applied for 40,000 jobs. 12 lakh people in UP police constable exams. And the exam paper has been leaking time after again. So please respond to that. Isn't that a problem?
No. It is a big problem and it is a huge problem and nobody can deny it. But you just see the prompt action that has been taken, the way the nodal officers have been called, the way the internal inquiry committee is working on it and asking them to furnish details. You see how Yogi ji has taken charge. Compare this to 26 paper leaks that happened in Rajasthan during Ashok Gehlot's time. At least 6 in 1 year, and just see there were people from the government who were involved in those. Look at the big difference. Yes, there would be culprits everywhere. Yes, there will be criminals. Yet there will be people who will indulge in this paper leaks. But how is the law and order situation? What is being done about it? Is the government of the particular state, is it part of the problem or is actually cracking the whip? You just see the inquiry that has taken place. You just see how many arrests have taken. Both the paper leaks. Nobody can run away from responsibility, and that is why you prove that this administration is good, is better, because there is responsiveness. And it is tough, and that is what. And the second question, I saw very, in a very mercurial manner, the spokesperson of Congress ran away from the question of the language used by Rahul Gandhi, not for the first time, and made it about unemployment. I can give you all the figures of unemployment. I can tell you about this urban unemployment, rural employment. I can go there. But now when you're mentioning the particular case of Varanasi, do you know who ordered the inquiry? Do you know, it was the BJP. It was the BJP state that ordered the inquiry. It was the BJP state that ensured. So no matter who it is, it's you, me, somebody from my family, it doesn't matter.
No, but ma'am, you are in the state government.
Punished, which is why
the state government should be ordering the inquiry. You can't expect the opposition to order the inquiry.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. No, but there was no. What is happening in West Bengal? Women are being raped. What is the government doing over there? Here there were own people, but we made sure there's an inquiry. We asked for it. This is the difference. I'm pointing out to you the paper leak matter.
Okay, one second. Let me move away, please. Let me go to Pradeep Bhati. Let's have Pradeep Bhati. Let's have Pradeep Bhati on the screen.
Sandeshkhali.
Pradeep Bhati, the other point, and Akhilesh Yadav also keeps saying this, that Naujawan ke liye naukri nahi hai. The data, and I put this out, I can ask our producers to pull out the data clearly shows that 6.2% unemployment, which was the highest, was during the last year of Akhilesh Yadav's government, 2017 going into 18, that financial year. From 6.2% in the last 6-7 years of Yogi government, it has actually been coming down. It has come down to now less than 3% despite COVID. And these are official figures, and we don't have any independent figures, but these are official figures given by the state government. So when you say unemployment hai, UP ke Naujawan ke paas koi naukri nahi hai, the figures don't bear out that fact.
Thank you, Jacob. Let me first put out this thing. This data is government data, and Honorable Akhilesh Yadav in the Assembly, UP Assembly recently has said that government should put the data, bring the data of employment rate. When you are comparing that with other countries like G20 countries, you have employment rate. Employment rate actually justify how many employment you have given. So this data is totally fake. Today government, what government is doing, they are playing with the data, they are manipulating the data, they are not doing nothing. And you are talking about the only 12 lakhs UP constable applications have received, 50 lakh applications have received for this job. And Shazia was talking about Rajasthan, 2 dozen paper leak has happened in Uttar Pradesh, and we allege that government is involved in it, paper leak, as well as they do not want to give employment to the people of Uttar Pradesh. See, in case you go through that, you bring that paper leaks keep on happening, and once the actually exam happened, then what will happen? Then there is a recruitment Gotala. You have recently seized the secretariat Gotala, where all mantris, santris, everybody got the employment. So that what is happening in Uttar Pradesh.
No, so, but Mr. Bhati, no, one second. Mr. Bhati, please say, Mr. Bhati, one second. If all of these problems, and nobody is saying there are no problems, these are all very grave problems, 12 or 15 lakh people aspiring for 40,000 jobs, all of that is given, exam paper leaks, all of that is given. But why, one second, why, I'm just quoting, one second, sir. I'm quoting from media reports which showed pictures of people waiting at the Lucknow railway station. Anyway, I want to ask you one question. Why then are people in the age group of 18 to 22 in the last election, 41% voted for the BJP. In the age group of 23 to 27, 40% voted for the BJP. In the age group of 28 to 35, 39% voted for the BJP. Highest youth vote share has gone to BJP. Why?
See, when you have these kind of sham data, probably every individual will think that I am not getting the job, rest all are getting the job. And don't say that the people are voting, that means there is no problem in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh people have or youth have realized that what is happening with them. There is, see how many paper leaks, 2 dozen paper leaks. Have you seen? There is a record. This is a record set by the Uttar Pradesh government, and government is alleging. What about the agitations happening in Allahabad about the UPPCS? The 69,000 teachers are agitating in Lucknow. Wherever you get the job, then people will start agitating because they are not actually employed.
Okay.
So this kind of
Let
thing,
me
what you see
let me
in
ask.
reality-
I just want to come in.
One second. Professor Gargi has also been waiting. One second, Shazia, please. Mr. Bhatti, please yield. Gargi Nandi Roy has been waiting very patiently. Ma'am, you know, the issue is this. The issue is, yes, no one is, condoning the language that Mr. Rahul Gandhi used. Clearly, he should not have been using that kind of language to describe, even if he saw a few youth, in a inebriated state in Kashi, whatever it is, he can't use that to paint everybody with a broad brush. But language aside, is the BJP, pouncing on the language used by Mr. Gandhi to conveniently ignore what are grave and serious issues that the youth of the country, including the youth of Uttar Pradesh, are facing, whether it is unemployment, exam paper leaks, and of course crimes against young women, which one of the previous speakers alluded to?
Thank you, Zaka, for inviting. See, the language was atrocious. Now coming to the problem, even Shazia Ilmi said that nobody is denying that yes, it's a huge state. So there are problems, but how the problems are handled? Can you, we remember what kind of Mafia Raj and Gunda Raj existed in UP before Yogi ji came, and how he handled it, how the mafias were silenced, and now they are checking, now they are doing the arrests and the paper leaks. So obviously if other mafias have been handled, this paper leak mafias, we are sure that Mr. Yogi will handle Adityanath Yogi. And coming to crime against women, women are safe. Yes, one incident in BHU and that guy was arrested, but crime against women in UP has come down. Women can freely go out in the night, which they used to be scared before. Ask a woman in the state of UP. I know people who stay in Noida and all, they said previously they used to be scared to be out of their sector after 8 p.m. Now they are free. So the general thing, one incident, yes, it was very bad, but the person has been arrested. And coming to Rahul Gandhi, when he is saying, talking about paper leaks, obviously he was conspicuous by his silence when the paper leaks happened in Rajasthan. When he is talking about Nasha, he was really, I think he was blindfolded when Congress was ruling the state of Punjab. We know the kind of drug abuse happened in Punjab. That time he was conspicuous by his silence. When it comes to recruitment scam, when it happened in Bengal, we know how the jobs were sold. That time they are silent. So he's so selective. And actually, Zaka, what I feel, why Rahul Gandhi is doing this, and not for the first time, he insulted people of UP before also in his current constituency of Wayanad. Why he is doing, he has really lost his senses, because you should have sympathy for him, because he's feeling nervous, he's frustrated. As when he started his Nyay Yatra, if you see what happened, all the partners are going away. We know Nitish Kumar left the India Alliance. Mamata Banerjee refused to greet him in the state of West Bengal. She is fighting independently. AAP is fighting independently in Punjab. More than 100 of people in Assam joined BJP. Congressmen joined BJP. So that's the palpable nervousness and rivalry.
So Dolly Sharma, is there palpable nervousness?
UP is an, last sentence, 10 seconds, Jaka. I want to put 10 seconds, 20 seconds, Zaka.
Ma'am, let me also bring in the others, please.
The future of UP is not bleak. The future of the Congress party seems to be bleak today.
Dolly Sharma, I asked this yesterday also on the panel. You look at some of the comments that Mr. Gandhi has made in this second yatra that he's undertaken for the last over a month now. It seems like he's very angry, he's agitated. Sometimes he's angry with reporters, sometimes he's angry with the youth. Why? And it's a complete contrast. The reason why I asked this is because it's a complete contrast to the first Bharat Jodo Yatra, which had, again, he used the famous line of Mohabbat ki dukaan and all that. Now today he's saying Kashi ke naujawan nashe mein chad rahe hain and all that. Where is the Mohabbat ki dukaan there? That's not language of love.
Zaka, I told you earlier also that Zaka, I told you the very first line that Rahul Gandhi said. He said, I saw the youth on the roads of Varanasi. Number two that I would like to say is that he has expressed his concern about the youth of this country. He's expressed that we've been watching the youth drinking and dancing on the streets of Varanasi. He said this very clearly. And secondly, Madam was telling about UP, Uttar Pradesh. Madam, if you don't know the data, I'll tell you, UP is on number 1, and when it comes to crime against women, the conviction, you know what, out of 26,000 68 cases, 16,058 cases were from Uttar Pradesh. This was the recent data released. And she should, before speaking anything, she should look at the data in hand. This is the real thing that is happening in UP. We've seen Brijbhushan Singh doing this with the
No, but Dolly Sharma, can I ask one small thing, ma'am? You said, Dolly ji, you said you are a resident of Ghaziabad. You've lived there, presuming you lived there for a large part of your life. Isn't there a clear difference you can see, at least in the urban parts of Uttar Pradesh, in Noida, in Ghaziabad, in this belt certainly, that, more and more people are out, late at night, whether it is young people, young women particularly, who are returning home after work much later. 10 years ago, that did not used to be the case. I mean, I've lived in Noida for the last almost 10 years now. I can tell you that there has been a palpable change. Today, I leave office after the show at 10 o'clock. I see a lot more people out on the streets than I used to when I first started working here.
So, Zaka, that means UP is not on number one when it comes to
I did not say that. I did not say that.
And secondly, if you talk about Ghaziabad, I'll tell you a recent example. Yesterday only a woman was thrown out of her house. Boys from the BJP, they were chedifying that girl. And nobody, no police, people were listening to her. I have video. If you want, I can show you that.
Okay. I really want to come in. I've been listening. So, okay.
Let Shazia respond, please. Yes. Shazia and then Mr. Bhatti, I'll come to you after that. Yeah, Shazia.
The rationale that is being offered by the lady representing the Congress is that there is a serious issue of unemployment. I would not even, I would not even deny it or negate it in any way, because this is a grave issue. But imagine Rahul Gandhi is not just ill-tempered and not respectful of the voters and people, but he's also low on fact. Now, if you look at the numbers, you'll realize that, and this is, I'm talking about a year back, you see in terms of unemployment, whether it's a police department or private jobs, it has gone up. But the UP unemployment rate has come down from 6.4 in 2017 to 18 to 2.6. And yes, there has been an increase in unemployment, and I'm quoting that also. So I'm being fair. It has gone up to 3.4 in 22-23. So, but overall, from the time when Akhilesh was there, it has come down three notches, 3%, and that's huge. So we're not running away from numbers. These are numbers which are there. Also, when it looks at police jobs, when you look at government jobs, but also in the private sector, which of course is not there, is not part of the, it has gone up, and UP is a different state altogether. I'm from UP, just by the way. So, you can't keep changing the goalposts and miscommunicating. If I give you numbers,
Shazia, one second.
That
the number of unfilled vacancies.
But just saying that nashedi hai.
One second. The number of unfilled vacancies, whether it is teacher posts, police posts, class D, class C, clerk posts, Sarkari clerk posts, the number of vacancies is huge. Right now, not just in Uttar Pradesh, in large parts of North Indian states. Why is that? The problem with youth unemployment, one part is of course, Sarkari jobs, but why are so many vacancies still not being filled?
No, and they should be. And if you make this point, it should be recognized immediately and addressed. But look at this, 1.5 lakh jobs have been given in the police department. I can give you 219 principals, 394 medical assistants, UPSC given employment letters.
Please, let her finish.
7,182 A&M health services, 1,442 staff nurses, 108 Udyami Mitras. So I can keep talking about 227 in sports category. I have the entire figure, the number is there. Now my point is something else. My point is, these are figures, these are official figures, so nobody can run away from the fact, even if it came down to 2% and then it went up 1% more, which is 3%, it is bad and we have to look at it. But it's clearly much better than what Akhilesh Yadav was doing.
Mr. Bhatti.
Not just that.
Yeah,
you
Mr. Bhatti.
About jobs. You talk about jobs.
I've got the last 3 minutes. I need to wrap. I need to wrap up.
You with Tejasvi Yadav.
So Mr. Bhatti.
Who was actually in a case where the jobs were given.
Okay, got it, Shazia. We're not talking about Bihar, we're talking about UP today. So Mr. Bhatti,
See, it is very strange that government talking about its own data and appreciating its own data. no matter how rosy picture, Jacob, you wants to show that UP crime rate has gone really down, but the NCRP data says it all. 10 rapes happening every day in Uttar Pradesh, 11 murders happening every day in Uttar Pradesh, and you say everything is good, you are going back home 10 p.m, that's good for you. But the reality of Uttar Pradesh is this, which their government data says 10. I don't know how many much more hard data the rate actually is, but government itself is saying that this is the real scenario of Uttar Pradesh. And what about the 2 crore jobs which government was supposed to give?
Okay.
Instead of 50 lakhs, people are applying for a constable job. That is what Uttar Pradesh has come down to. Don't compare the data, because in our time the central government was released the data and central government was not ours. At the same time, Uttar Pradesh government at the double engine Sarkar is only manipulating data, providing fake data and sham data. So I think to appreciate about it, and you should realize of this from this government that what they really got. 80 lakh people.
Thank you very much to all our guests. We'll have to leave it at that. Like I said, all of this is in the context of the upcoming election, because the youth vote is a critical catchment area for both Congress and the India Alliance, for both BJP and the India Alliance. And clearly, if you were to go by data from 2014, 2019, it is the BJP which has got a large proportion of that youth vote. Whether or not that trend continues in 2024, we don't know. Yes, unemployment is a problem, but the question that voters, young people, when they go to vote, what they ask seems to be who is best placed to fix that problem of unemployment. Maybe the reason why 40% plus youth vote has been captured by the BJP is because a large proportion of the youth feel that the BJP is best placed to deal with that problem of unemployment. We don't know how a youth voter thinks when he or she casts their vote. But let's see how the youth vote plays out in the 2024 election. Is going to be one fascinating subset of the larger battle. But talking about battles, a deep dive into the Russia-Ukraine conflict as it completes 2 years tomorrow. While Ukrainian troops were backed by the West, mounted a counter-offensive, particularly through 2023, it didn't really come good. At least the expected result did not come by. The Russian war machine has only expanded its gains, the latest being Avdiivka, which is an eastern city which Russia has managed to recapture just last week. The Ukrainian war effort is struggling. There is also, more importantly, a dark cloud hanging over American funding for Ukraine, which is now stuck in the US Congress. The Republicans are refusing to release money to Ukraine. And in the midst of all of this, when this war began, Vladimir Putin cut a sorry figure. He cut almost an insular, isolated figure. He was reticent. He preferred the comforts of the Kremlin, the comfort of his confidants. He hardly ever traveled. But in the last 6 months or so, as the Russian military has been gaining on the ground militarily, city after city, town after town in eastern Ukraine, Putin has also become far more visible. He had visited China a few months ago. He has visited Turkey. He's visited Iran. He's due to visit China and perhaps even North Korea in the next few months. There is clearly some kind of a publicity overdrive, if you will, with Vladimir Putin. Why is he doing that? Is that playing to his strongman image both at home and abroad? And how may this war shape up in the next few weeks and months? First, a deep dive, and then I'll be joined by a Ukrainian member of parliament right after that to analyze where the war stands right now as it touches the 2-year mark. It'll be more than 2 years this week since the start of the Ukraine war. Since this war started, Russian President Vladimir Putin has been in relative isolation. He's traveled to very few countries and his public appearances have been very selective. But that has changed in the last few months. From a marathon year-end call-in and press conference to a very public and high-profile interview to American TV host Tucker Carlson, Putin has been on a publicity overdrive. But the question is why? And why now? On Crux Decode, we analyze how the Russian president, who at the start of this war was seen as reclusive and insular, not preferring to leave the confines of the Kremlin and his closest advisors, has now suddenly shifted into a publicity flurry, and how this drive helps strengthen his image both at home and abroad. As the Ukraine war enters the third year, one thing can be said with some degree of certainty. That as things stand today, it seems almost impossible that Russia will lose this war. It has taken 2 years coming, and this conflict could potentially drag on for many more years to come, but it is highly unlikely that Russia will be forced out of the territory that it now controls in eastern Ukraine. So net-net, if you would look at it in classic military terms, Putin has almost won this war. He's managed to capture large parts of the Donbass in eastern Ukraine, parts which Russia did not control prior to February 2022 when this war began. What Putin will now need to do is to convert this into a buffer state of sorts and ensure that there is some degree of separation between Mother Russia and what he has termed as an ever-advancing NATO. His next objective, of course, would be to ensure the political end of Volodymyr Zelensky. That might take a little longer. But with each passing day, as Ukraine falters in its counter-offensive effort, it makes Zelensky weaker and Putin stronger. Russia has just announced that it's conquered a key eastern Ukrainian city of Advitka, a key part in Ukraine's defense strategy, which has fallen after 24 months. Putin will use this to press further claims westwards into heartland Ukraine. But not everything is playing to Putin's strength or making him look good. Over the weekend, there was the shocking news of the death of Russian opposition leader and longtime dissident Alexei Navalny. Navalny was in an isolated prison in the Arctic. The announcement simply said that Navalny had died while he was on a walk, with no further details. But that prompted an angry President Biden of the United States to call a press conference where he openly declared that Putin was the killer of Navalny. The US president did not offer any evidence to back his claim. Those accusations were later leveled by Navalny's family. But here's the rub. For Putin, while in the immediate term Navalny's death will help rally the West on a point that they've been arguing and insisting on for years now, that in Putin's Russia there is no hope for any kind of democratic revival, that there has been complete disregard for a plurality of political voices. But it also does one thing in the medium to long term, and that is it burnishes Vladimir Putin's strongman image. He needn't have had Navalny dead. Putin is just a shoo-in from another term as president. Elections are due later this year in Russia. Putin right now is politically at his strongest. He has no challengers virtually both at home in Russia or exiled abroad who can challenge him anytime soon, or for that matter in the upcoming election. That is all the more reason why there was no compelling need to kill Alexei Navalny. But it does reinforce Putin's take-no-prisoners approach. Putin needs to project his strongman image both at home and abroad. He was recently on a state visit to China. He's expected to go there again soon in the first half of 2024. It's one of the countries that he has visited multiple times since the start of this war. While on the next trip to China, he might even venture a visit to North Korea. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un had visited Russia after the start of the war. There was also media speculation about Pyongyang providing Moscow with weapons, particularly artillery, as the Ukraine war drags on. Putin has made very sparse trips otherwise in the last 2 years. Once he went to Turkey and once to Iran. The rest of his foreign sojourns have been confined to Russia's immediate neighborhood. But that reticence is now changing. Putin is also using his interview with Tucker Carlson and his year's end press conference to drive home a singular message, that in Russia, he is the man in charge. He has no intentions of handing over power or stepping down from active public life anytime soon. There have been multiple rumors of Putin's continued ill health. There's also been rumors about the use of body doubles. By keeping himself so much in the public eye, Putin is hoping to blunt all that negative messaging around him at the start of this war. In the interview with Tucker Carlson, Putin rambled on about Russian history, why Russia was forced to invade Ukraine so as to correct what he saw as a historical wrong. It seemed to give off an image that Putin is the dominant person in the interview and that the interviewer is either being used as a prop or is simply too meek to confront Putin and stop him from rambling. In fact, Putin, just to rub it in, after the interview even complained that he expected the host to ask him tougher questions. He was using the interview in a way to chide at more than on one occasion the American TV host. This was his way of showing one-upmanship with the entire West. He's also been using his recent public utterances to draw a stark comparison with what's happening on the domestic American political scene, in contrast to the man in charge in Russia. Joe Biden has been hemming and hawing at the Republicans for blocking additional funding of $60 billion for Ukraine. Donald Trump, his Republican challenger, has shown open derision for Ukraine. He's cheesed off NATO allies by saying that Russia can do whatever the hell it wants. In this background, Putin is trying to paint his strongman image as a point of contrast with these two aging American men who have displayed declining mental faculties. He's also shoring up Russia's economic image among the global community in a bid to show that the Russian economy, far from collapsing as was predicted at the start of this war, is still going strong despite 2 years of this war. Whether or not Alexei Navalny's death will become a rallying point in Russia, that is hardly clear at this point of time. It is unlikely that it will sway the elections, which are coming up later this year. What Putin is counting on is confusion and distraction in the West as he doubles down on the Ukraine war. Russia has recently taken Advitka, which is a key eastern town. It's now hoping to press further westwards in Ukraine. As the war enters its third year this week, Putin is at his strongest, both politically, and the Russian army seems to be in the best position since the start of this war militarily. But can this finally turn the tide of this war? Or whether this will galvanize Western nations to rally harder behind Ukraine, that is an open question right now. Putin, the cat with 9 lives, is sure to survive this one too. So it's going to be 2 years since this war began on Saturday, the 24th of February. Joining me now is Mr. Oleksiy Goncharenko. He's a Ukrainian member of parliament. Thank you very much, Mr. Goncharenko. What is your assessment from where you are in Kiev as this war completes 2 years on Saturday as to how both countries are placed? Ukraine, its counteroffensive, its famed counteroffensive from last year hasn't quite gone according to plan. And just in the past week, with the fall of Avdiivka, it seems like Russia is today in control of more territory at any point in the last 2 years today than at the beginning of this war.
No, first of all, you're not right. Russia lost 50% of the territory that they took at the beginning of invasion. So it's not true that Russia controls more territory than any other moment during the war. The maximum they had, it was March 2022, and now they are controlling much less territory. I'm speaking about Avdiivka. Avdiivka, you should understand, before invasion, it was 30,000 population town. Not just in Indian measures, but also in Ukrainian. It's not a big city at all. And just several square miles. That's all great success of so-called the second strongest army in the world, how they claimed. So it's not a big success from any point of view. But speaking about Ukraine, in 2023, we really have a very big success. It's in the Black Sea. We kicked off Russian Black Sea fleet from the western part of the Black Sea. We opened the Black Sea for Ukrainian agricultural experts, not from Putin's goodwill, but with the force we did it. And now Ukrainian grain is coming to the so-called global south countries, which is very important for millions of people. We destroyed a significant part of Russian fleet. So on sea, we have very good results. On land, we have a stalemate. That's how the situation looks like for the moment.
Mr. Goncharenko, what happened to the famous counteroffensive, whether it was in Zaporizhia, whether it was in parts of the east? It seems like Ukraine's counteroffensive didn't quite go as planned.
Yeah, definitely. We wanted bigger results, but we have what we have. That's the war. It's quite hard to predict. Don't forget that Ukraine attacked without air superiority, without advantage in troops and anything else. So, yeah, we reclaimed small portions of our territory, but not more. That's the result of our military campaign on land last year. On sea, the situation is much better, as I told you.
But what about Vladimir Putin himself? It doesn't seem like he's going away anytime soon. He was, in fact, recently, he had gone to Turkey, to Iran, to China. There is talk that he's being welcomed with open arms in South Africa. The president of Brazil has glowing things to say about him. India has not cut off its trade or defense relationship with Putin. It seems like politically, at least in comparison to where he was at the start of this war, he's at a far stronger position today than in February of 2022.
Now, I think comparing to what? Comparing to February 23, 2022, he's in much weaker position. He is a war criminal against whom there is a decision of International Criminal Court, and he is wanted. He couldn't come to South Africa. You have a wrong information, because South Africa is a part of International Criminal Court, and if he would come to South Africa, he would be arrested. So I don't think that he is in better situation at all. Russia is kicked out from the Council of Europe. Russia is kicked out from G8. So they can't be there anymore. So is he still president of Russia? Yes. He is a tyrant. And it's always like tyrannies look like. They look very stable just the day before they becoming very unstable and just collapse. So it can happen tomorrow. Some of his accomplices can kill him, or he can fall. Like it was in June, there was a mutiny and rebel of Wagner Group, which marched to Moscow. Oh, it can happen in 10 years. And I don't know when it will happen. But what I do know that it will happen. So we can't say that he is in strong position. Where is his strong position? But
what about the Ukrainian president? It seems like there is dissent within his cabinet. There's chatter about replacing the prime minister, the army chief, and most importantly, the funding that was supposed to come from the United States, $60 billion, that still seems to be stuck. So what is the foreseeable future for Ukraine's war effort?
Like India is the biggest democracy in the world. Tell me, please, is there changes in the government in India? Can it be changes? In any democratic countries, there can be changes and should be changes. That's why it's democratic country, because nothing can be made from stone. Speaking about financial support, yes, that is something we are very much worried about. We are waiting for the decision of US Congress. We have decision of European Union about 50 billion euros support to Ukraine. We are very thankful for this. We have decision of Japan, of Norway, of Canada, of the United Kingdom, but we don't have decision of the United States for the moment. We hope this decision will be made in the nearest future.
But ever since the war in Israel, between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip began, do you think the world's focus and attention on Ukraine has gone away? And more importantly, the moral pedestal argument that was being made in the context of Ukraine, that you have a sovereign country being invaded, that argument no longer exists because those same countries are here supporting Israel while it kills civilians in a disproportionate fashion.
Absolutely. I can agree with you that we have less focus to Ukraine now. Also because of the war in the Middle East, also because people got used. It's 2 years. And people just got used to awful footage that you show it. But Ukrainian women and children are still dying, and Russia is still killing, and Russia is still committing genocide, and Russia is behaving as a colonial power, as the last colonial empire of Europe. Unfortunately, that's true. And thanks to you that you are covering it, that you are showing it, because that's something very important for millions of people. And we hope that all people in the world will not forget about these sacrifices of Ukrainians for democracy, for international order, because we are just fighting for international order. If the borders of Ukraine can be changed like this with a brutal force, why the borders of other countries? I don't know. India, God bless, never that would happen. But if somebody will decide to attack India, some big neighbor, it's not normal at all. We should respect the international law, international order. There are borders of Ukraine were internationally recognized, including Russia. Russia number of times recognized our borders with a number of agreements which were ratified in Russian parliament. Just Russia is like speeding on international order, that's all. But if we will tolerate things like this, what will be with the world?
I want to get a final word, and like I said, we all want to be hopeful for Ukraine's sake, but realistically, Mr. Goncharenko, what do the next 12 months look like to you for your country and this war?
I'm not Nostradamus. It looks like the next 12 months will be war, war will continue. We will continue to fight. We don't have any other option. Russians are on our land, killing us. They are committing genocide against Ukrainians. What can we do? We can't give up. If we will give up, they will just kill all of us. They will take our children, make from them Russian soldiers, and attack next country. That's all. We will never allow this to happen, and Ukraine will prevail.
All right. Mr. Alexei Goncharenko, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
As your country is going through these troubled times. And of course, it's going to be 2 years since this war began on Saturday. The countdown is on for Anant Ambani and Radhika Merchant's pre-wedding bash in Jamnagar in early March. From an evening in Everland to Mela Rouge, the themes of the celebrations have been revealed as over 1,000 VVIPs will be taking part in the festivities. We'll leave you with this. Thanks for tuning in.
Mukesh and Neeta Ambani's youngest son Anant will tie the knot with Radhika Merchant in July. But the festivities kickstart early March as the who's who of business world and the biggest celebrities fly down to Gujarat's Jamnagar for the pre-wedding functions. Nearly 1,000 guests have received exquisite invites which have details of the events and travel right down to the T. The pre-wedding festivities will take place at the Reliance Greens complex in Jamnagar. The sprawling complex has more than 10 million trees and Asia's largest mango orchard. Groom Anant Ambani nurtured this estate into a haven for rescued animals, and so the venue has a special place in his heart. The first pre-wedding function is on the 1st of March. The theme is an evening in Everland and it comes with an elegant cocktail dress code. Day 2 kicks off with a walk on the wild side, and the attire specified for guests is jungle fever. The Ambani family has always had a deep love for safaris. The famous Kruger National Park in South Africa has been a favourite holiday spot for the family. Incidentally, Jamnagar has the largest zoo of rescued animals and guests will probably get a chance to tour through this. The evening of March 2nd will be Mela Rouge night with a dress code of dazzling Desi romance. Expect to see some glamorous looks from the Ambani family and their VVIP guests. On the agenda for day 3 is Tusker Tales. It could be a play on the rescued elephants that have been homed at the Reliance Greens complex in Jamnagar. Guests can wear casual chic for this outing. This is followed by Hastakshar with the dress code of Heritage Indian. This will be the culmination of the 3-day festivities, which are expected to end on a traditional and regal note. The invite does mention that while the looks of each pre-wedding function are indicative, the Ambani family would want guests to feel comfortable and enjoy every moment and make beautiful memories to last a lifetime.
Presented by Art.
Segunda cesta. La de abajo. Sigo, ¿verdad?
General del edificio. No, Magda. Sí, métele, Sancho, aguanto. Yo creo que 1 hora aguanto. Ya están cerca.
Aquí no hay nadie. Me muevo un momento.
Sí, de 2 personas. Todos, sí. Están caminando, van con dos de naranja, dos bomberos, o enfermeros, o lo que sea, por el medio de la calle. ¿Lo ves?
Venga, camina. Sí que son. Sí. Pero antes estaban a la derecha del todo. ¿A mí? Entonces, lo que no consigo ver
del edificio. A estas horas es tanto el trabajo de los bomberos que...
Yo tengo